War doesn't arrive with sirens or fireworks. It doesn't announce itself with headlines or sudden explosions. Real war begins quietly. A subtle shift in the air, a strange tension in the streets, a hum in your phone that feels wrong. It starts in the small things. Your news feed freezes. Updates repeat themselves endlessly. Official statements feel rehearsed, polite, and hollow. Maps on TV show unfamiliar colours. You hear phrases like temporary containment or monitoring the situation, words that hide panic behind calm. No one tells the truth. No one can. You step outside and the world seems the same. Traffic moves, lights flicker, people talk in the distance. But underneath, a fault line has formed. A fracture invisible to the eye, but loud in the gut. The first wave of panic is invisible too. It's in the subtle glances of strangers, the nervous tapping of fingers, the sudden quiet when a familiar voice speaks. Phones stop ringing, servers lag, satellites skip frames, silence stretches across continents, binding humanity in a tension that is heavier than smoke or rubble. And then comes the slow, creeping realization. The systems you relied on, communication, electricity, governance, are no longer guarantees. They will fail. Some immediately, some in ways you cannot yet see. The war begins not with fire, but with disorientation. A quiet collapse that seeps into homes, streets, and minds. The first casualties are not cities, armies, or nations. They are certainty, trust, and the illusion of control. By the end of the first day, you feel it deep inside. The world you knew is gone. And no one told you when it left. No one can. War doesn't make noise first. It waits. It whispers and it listens to see who panics, who adapts, and who breaks silently under pressure. War doesn't need explosions to break the world. It starts in the spaces between seconds, in the delays, in the things that should work but suddenly don't. The first symptom is confusion. Flights vanish from screens, roads empty, then jam. Supermarket shelves are full 1 hour, bare the next. People act as if the rules they've lived by for decades, traffic signals, schedules, emergency services, suddenly no longer apply. Panic spreads faster than missiles ever could, not because people are violent yet, but because uncertainty erodes the boundaries that hold civility in place. Rumours feed on hesitation. That convoy didn't arrive. That bridge is closed. That city fell. Everyone repeats them as if saying the words makes them true. And belief becomes reality before the first shot is fired. You start noticing subtle shifts in neighbours, friends, strangers, the trembling hand in the checkout line, the cold glare of someone scanning exits constantly, the way people start moving in groups, whispering, avoiding eye contact. Type 1 stirs. The broken, the desperate. They feed on confusion, sparking arguments, hoarding what they can, testing boundaries of fear. Type 2 moves into the gaps. The calm, the assertive. They begin to organize, to control, to command without permission. Type 3 watches. The quiet predators. They map the chaos, memorizing faces, exits, weak points, and resources, while everyone else panics. By the time the first official warning arrives, it's too late. The human infrastructure has already begun to crumble. People no longer trust the system. They trust their instincts or the strongest voice nearby. And in that vacuum, the war has already won its first victories. Not with bombs or soldiers, but with fear, hesitation, and the subtle collapse of order. Because before the first bomb falls, the real battlefield is the human mind. The first casualties are patience, logic, and restraint. And the survivors are those who notice who is breaking, who is leading, and who is quietly watching, and adjust before it's too late. Not everyone becomes dangerous in war, but some people were already broken long before the first missile flew. Type 1 is the catalyst, the human fuse waiting for a spark. They are the ones who carry ruin in their veins, who have nothing left to lose, and who finally find an excuse to act without restraint. You won't recognize them at first. They appear ordinary, neighbors, colleagues, even friends. But there's a subtle difference. Their calm is brittle, their smiles twitch with tension, their eyes flicker with an unreadable calculation. Within hours of global collapse, they surface, arguing over trivial matters in lines, snapping at strangers for imagined slights, hoarding, stealing, lying, pushing boundaries just to feel some control. The catalyst doesn't think in terms of tomorrow. They exist in a volatile now. Consequences are meaningless. Fear is irrelevant. Morality is a relic they left behind long ago. And they are fast. A rumour can send them running. A scarcity can send them screaming. A momentary chaos can turn them into predators. You can watch their behaviour, like a storm forming. Erratic mood swings, disproportionate rage over minor annoyances, isolation that is not introspection but preparation, a gaze into nothingness, rehearsing a final act that might never come. The key to surviving a Type 1 is distance. Do not confront. Do not negotiate. Do not attempt to save them. They are beyond saving. If you must engage, keep it clinical. Calm voice, no promises, no challenges. Speak, but give them no power. Sometimes that buys you time. Sometimes it doesn't. The harsh truth. In war, some people aren't obstacles. They are forces of nature. And the world has no mercy for those who underestimate a storm already in motion. Type 2 is different. They don't break because of chaos, they thrive in it. Where Type 1 is unpredictable, Type 2 is deliberate. They are the ex-military, the ex-gang members, the seasoned fighters, the ones who have seen fear up close and used it like a tool. They are violence refined into strategy. Not mindless aggression, but controlled, precise, and terrifyingly effective. You will recognize them in ways subtle and unmistakable. The calm posture when others panic. Eyes constantly scanning exits and potential threats. Confidence that is not arrogance, but experience. Hands that move with intention, never wasted motion. A presence that quietly asserts authority without needing words. Chaos is their playground. While everyone else scrambles, they calculate. They know how to organize resources, manipulate people, control territory and exploit fear. Confrontation is dangerous. Bluffing will fail. Weakness will be exploited. These people respect strength, but more than strength, they respect utility. They are lethal because they act while everyone else hesitates. When you deal with a Type 2, remember, never provoke them unnecessarily. Offer value without giving control. Set boundaries early and firmly. Be useful, not submissive. Observe more than you speak, and beware if they lead a group. Type 2 can command loyalty through intimidation, not charm. Their influence spreads like a shadow, and by the time you recognize it, it may be too late. In war, Type 2 is not just a threat. They are a force that shapes the battlefield, and survival often depends on whether you align with, avoid, or outthink them. Type 3 is the one you never see coming. Not broken, not visibly dangerous, not overtly violent. They appear helpful, calm, and trustworthy. Your neighbour, your co-worker, the person offering supplies or comfort when everyone else panics. But beneath the smile is calculation. Beneath the charm is strategy. Beneath the kindness is a predator waiting for the perfect opportunity. Type 3 thrives on deception. They blend in, they learn, they manipulate without leaving fingerprints. You'll notice subtle signs if you pay attention. Questions that seem casual but are probing for weaknesses. Overly eager offers of help. Seemingly selfless but timed to gain trust. Stories that shift slightly when retold. Small inconsistencies hidden in charm. Private conversations that isolate individuals, testing loyalty and sowing doubt. Confrontation is risky. Directly challenging a Type 3 often backfires. They deny, twist, and manipulate the group to protect themselves. The key to surviving them: keep your distance, protect your resources, lock down your sensitive information, observe silently. Remove them before they embed themselves too deeply in your group. Type 3 doesn't need weapons. They control situations, influence decisions, and exploit trust. And in the chaos of war, that is often more dangerous than any gun or bomb. While Type 1 burns and Type 2 commands, Type 3 quietly shapes the battlefield from the shadows. And by the time you realize their power, it may already be too late. The first 72 hours of a global war aren't defined by battles or explosions. They are defined by disorientation, by the slow, suffocating realization that the systems you've relied on, power, law, communication, supply chains, are no longer guarantees. Hour 16. The quiet shift. At first, nothing seems wrong. News reports drip slowly, flights delay, stock markets wobble. You feel tension in the air, but it is subtle, almost imperceptible. Then the silence begins. Servers freeze, messages fail to send, traffic lights stutter, and every familiar rhythm of life becomes unreliable. The first casualties aren't cities or armies. They are certainty, trust, and the illusion of control. Hour 6:24, panic spreads. Grocery stores, gas stations, and pharmacies empty in hours. Lines form, silent and tense. People's eyes scan exits. Hands grip carts tightly, shoulders stiffen. Type 1 erupts, arguing, hoarding, snapping. Type 2 organizes, directing, calming, controlling. Type 3 watches, memorizing, mapping, planning. Rumors spread faster than truth. And in the vacuum, human nature becomes the battlefield. Our 24-48. Systems fail, curfews are imposed. Checkpoints appear, electricity flickers, government statements feel hollow and delayed. People realize they are no longer fully in charge of their lives. Trust fractures. Communities polarize. And every decision, where to go, who to trust, what to take, becomes life or death. Our 48-72, the realization. By the third day, the war's true nature emerges. This is not temporary. This is not manageable. Supply chains crumble. Communication is unreliable. Hospitals overflow. And in every neighborhood, human behavior begins to fracture under pressure. The world doesn't collapse with a bang. It collapses in the quiet hours, in the lines, in the whispers, in the panic that spreads faster than any missile. By the end of 72 hours, the first lesson is clear. Survival depends not on weapons or luck, but on recognizing who is breaking, who is leading, and who is silently calculating before the war fully arrives.